Hello everyone, Pepper Hernandez from drpepperhernandez.com coming to you today to speak about something that's very, very dear to me. Epileptic seizures and panic attacks, anxiety, nervous system issues. Now, I was diagnosed with epilepsy over 20 years ago, and there were certain things that I have picked up along the way, recognizing that they help with my nervous system. And epileptic seizures are really a indication that your nervous system has been taxed and that you need to repair that system. Just like if you get sick all the time, that's your immune system, so on and so on. So there are multiple things that I do personally for those things, and that's a lot of magnesium. I work with terpenes such as linalool, which is found in lavender for calming and relaxing. I do not engage in a lot of sugar, even though chocolate is one of my favorite things in the world. I don't engage with a lot of sugar or caffeine. I always, if I do coffee, I do a decaf. That's just how it goes. And I don't ever drink sodas, which can be very high in caffeine and very high in sugar. I eat a very clean, organic and healthy diet. I take very, very good care of myself in order to not disrupt my nervous system. I also do 2 hours of Kundalini yoga every single day, and we have 72,000 nerve endings in our body, and those nerve endings are definitely stimulated in a normal day. And so I try to stay away from technology, and doing the Kundalini yoga helps repair my central nervous system. So those are a couple things that I do. Now, the FDA has 2 legal approved drugs, and I'd like to talk a little bit about that, as well as tinctures and how the tinctures would stand up to synthetic drugs for epilepsy. Now, I have used them, and so I have a little bit to say on them. But let's start out with the first one. The first one is Epidiolex. Epidiolex is it's the first and only FDA prescribed CBD oil. And I want to be very clear with telling you it's CBD. So it's pretty much plant derived, but it's an isolate from a plant, which they can do a lot more testing on. It's pure, it's clear. The plant form that they're getting it from, I'm not certain. Obviously, it's probably from a hemp, and I don't know what the quality is there, but it is working for people. And what it does come in is it's a powdered isolate that comes in a liquid form. And the liquid form they have available right now, which they're always changing and shifting, so it's going to be something different soon. But the liquid form they have right now is a strawberry flavored syrup, I believe. And this is so it's easy for children to take, because children as young as 2 years old can be taking this particular thing, this CBD, and it's really helpful for seizures and for epilepsy and what they call LGS. It's a child onset of seizures. And this, it's the only legal form of CBD. Even though CBD is federally legal, this is the only true form that the FDA has approved for mass production for prescribing physicians. So you do have to get a prescription from your prescribing physician, your primary care. They do need to give you one of those, and that can be, depending on your state, it can be an ND if they're a practicing licensed ND, or a practicing licensed MD can also give you that. And I'm sure a PhD, if they're licensed to give pharmaceuticals, they can do that as well. And there's others, right? Your PA and your nurses and all those things. But you do have to go to a professional who has a license to prescribe in order to get that drug. So I just want to give you a few little pieces about that. This drug is wonderful, and I'm so grateful that they have it on the market, because the average bear, Joe down the street who is anti-cannabis, or those states that are anti-cannabis, can go and get this and know that it works, and they get it from the lab coat, personnel that's going to help walk them through this. That's great. And there's scientific research and there's basis behind it and there's studies, and that's great. And I'm so happy for this. Now, so there's lots of positives. The downside on this one is it's an upward if you use it, not just the maintenance dose, but you use the actual suggested dosage. We're talking about possibly up into $100,000 a year is what this particular one costs. Now they're saying around $32,000, but if you put someone on a particular dosage that has heavy seizures, they're going to need to stay on that dosage for a very long time, I would imagine. So for example, a carbamazepine that someone would be taking for seizures, such as myself, 300 twice a day, 600 milligrams, that was a very low, well, not very low end, but that was medium low end. We're talking about with the CBD. Now they're completely different compounds, so we can't really judge them too harshly. But with a CBD, you'd really only be wanting to take around 20 grams a day, and this, or milligrams. I'm so sorry, milligrams a day. Now, this is coming from their website and a friend of mine who is a medical physician, as well as just doing some really deep research on them. I'm not getting paid by them, or I don't speak for them or anything like that. I just thought this was really great information, and I just did a podcast on iHeartRadio about it, and so I thought I'd share it with my YouTube family.